Hello there, everybody. I'm Mr. GamePie,
And I'm Austin on Sugar.
and welcome to Let's Play Elebits, Part 13. Today, we go back to the first carnival level of the game, but this time with super strength and an added challenge. In that we can't break a bunch of objects.
Oh.
But that challenge is only actually relevant for like the first 3 minutes of the level, and this is actually only a 15-minute level, so that's nice.
Oh wow, we finally have a decently short one. I hope the next one isn't like a half-hour level to counterbalance it.
Not quite yet, but
Okay,
we'll be
that's
getting
all
there
right.
soon enough. But yeah, basically we're in this shop that we never actually got to go to in the first level of this. And there's a bunch of breakable objects in here. And we can only break 10. So clearly this is designed to be a challenge where it's like, oh, look at this, don't break all damn objects.
But then once you reach a certain point in the level, the number of breakable objects cuts down quite a bit, so you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, we got yellow Elebits.
I should hope they're still around. If they weren't, then, I don't know.
Yeah,
the
but
fact
in
that
this
orange and
particular
blues are
spot,
still
they're
here.
kind of annoying.
I can imagine that, because you would need to whack them into stuff without breaking anything, right?
And I think one of them already broke something.
Oh, there's that too. I forgot that Obits can also image things.
Yep. Yellow Elebits in particular because, you know, they can lift things into the air and throw them around. So they're kind of annoying. By kind of, I mean exceedingly. Alright, so, Austin, how would you compare this game to a game like, say, Katamari, since you've already mentioned that last episode?
Yeah, it feels kind of like it's coming from the same heart, I guess you could say. Like, this game and that game are both about gaining the ability to manipulate bigger things so that you can become this bigger force of destruction in one way or another in playground-based environments. The difference obviously being in this one, your job is to specifically capture these little dudes, whereas in Katamari, it's to capture anything and everything that gets in your way.
Yes.
It's still the same kind of cutesy graphics where you're technically playing a monger of destruction, but it's a little bit more, whatever the word for it, a little less disturbing here, shall we say.
Yeah. So, I mean, would you say that this game should have been compared more to Katamari than Pikmin or Chibi-Robo?
It's kind of like what you would get if you took ideas from all three and put them together, but it's definitely a Katamari-inspired game a lot more than it's a Pikmin-inspired game, for example. It's placing Pikmin-like creatures in the role of Chibi-Robo, and you are playing as the prince, capturing Chibi-Robo constantly.
Yes.
If that makes any sense at all! So, definitely the least to do with Pikmin, definitely the most to do with Katamari, but I like the idea of seeing the world from the perspective of these little creatures, which is definitely a very Chibi-Robo thing, to see the mundane in a whole new light, which I appreciate whenever a game can do that right.
Yeah.
Which technically Katamari did that too, now that I think about it, but that was Japan, and no one understands Japan. Not even Japan understands Japan. So
No, nobody understood. Although this is pretty Japan as well.
I guess, but at least Kai's house still looks kind of like a comfortable American home to a certain extent.
A little bit.
It's not like he opens up in a traditional Japanese apartment, for example.
Yeah. No, he doesn't do that.
So the fact that he comes from the suburbs, the fact that his room looks a bit different, or that his TV or computer are designed a bit differently than most people's, doesn't bother me that much, in the same way that the house in Chibi-Robo didn't really bother me, despite the fact it was a very Japanese house.
It's regular Japan, not video game Japan.
Yeah, actually that's an even better way to put it, is it doesn't try to romanticize, because it's a Japanese game after all, the Japanese elements that Americans, or at least Westerners, wouldn't understand. Whereas I know stuff like any other Japanese game ever is probably going to show a lot more of the Japanese side of things. Like, to go to Katamari, in that game you roll around the house, but of course instead of a table, there's a mat with the platters placed on top of the map that you have to roll up onto. That kind of a game only works because you can't jump and you have to roll everywhere, and everything about Japan, or at least traditional Japanese culture, is about those smooth lines and not having any hard edges anywhere. So I appreciate that to a very great extent, and I guess that what makes Katamari so great is the connection it builds where weird and wacky levels are still weird and wacky, but they also show us a bit of that culture. Whereas this game is just a game that could work anywhere and does work anywhere.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so today, I mean, you technically haven't seen this level yet, but, I mean, most people watching already have, so...
There's really not much to say. We're in a level.
Yep,
There wasn't...
it's a level that we've been to before, even.
There wasn't much to say on some levels that we hadn't been to before, so...
Yeah.
Are those walls made out of chocolate? Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, we're actually gonna get to do the waterfall, though.
Oh.
Because the waterfall is a powered object that we didn't get to do because we were never strong enough to do it.
I'm sorry, a waterfall is a powered object?
Or a water fountain, sorry.
Oh, okay. No, just making sure, just making sure.
That makes a little bit more sense. Hopefully. It is
fine.
Elebits, so things don't exactly have to make sense, but, well, they do sometimes.
When I was younger, I used to watch a TV show. I think it was called JJ the Jet Plane or something like that.
Oh, I know about that one.
Okay, well, JJ the Jet Plane came across, as he put it, an upside-down waterfall. And the whole episode, everyone was saying, no, JJ, waterfalls can't go upside down. Waterfalls fall down. They can't go up. And JJ was like, no, I saw an upside-down water. He saw a geyser.
Oh.
Which isn't anything like a waterfall. If anything, he should call it an underground fountain. And then people could say, fountains don't go underground, JJ. But I guess they were just really desperate for some kind of educational lesson or something.
An educational lesson about gravity?
Look, I don't understand those shows. There was another episode about a cloud that befriended JJ, so the cloud decided it would
Wait, are you saying cloud or clown?
Cloud, as in
a
puff of water vapor that really, really liked JJ. So they sang an emotional, romantic song together in the sky, and then JJ and the cloud both landed, and the cloud was like, I want to come with you. So it did, and then one of the planes couldn't land because the airport didn't have landing lights for some reason.
What?
But that's how I learned that all fog is just a cloud on the ground.
Okay.
But I also learned from that episode that clouds can decide where they move and can talk to planes.
Not people, though.
No, not people. Of course not people. The cloud disappeared anytime a person walked around. JJ had to solve everything on his own, using his wits and charisma. No, he just talked to the cloud for a while.
I don't think that JJ's charisma stat is very high. He looks a little bit creepy, honestly.
Oh, yes, he does. Which iteration of the show? Because there was an even more creepy one that came before it.
You know, I'm thinking about the one that came around the time of Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, no, the Thomas the Tank Engine looking one is disturbing. But they came out with one later on that was basically CG planes with these really awkward looking CG faces on the outside. Like, really, really awkward looking CG faces. It was bad.
Oh, wow.
That
sounds terrible.
Because they were all skin-toned. Whereas Thomas, I think, had the right idea by making everything gray and not looking particularly humanoid, just face-like, which
yeah,
is a little bit better. Now, how about Theodore the Tugboat? Remember Theodore the Tugboat?
Vaguely, yes.
He's a tugboat and a friendly tugboat too. A friendly tugboat too. Oh, that takes me back. Oh. Ew,
yeah, it takes
I don't
me
like
back
being taken back.
You don't like to be taken back, Austin?
I don't want to be taken back in time to another world.
He's gonna take you back to the past. Let's play the memes that are hamsters.
Back in time.
Oh no, I was thinking angry video game nerd.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't. That's the problem. I've never really watched the AVGN.
Oh, you
I
haven't?
played this game though. I mean, I've watched a couple things by him. I know about the vomiting doggy doo-doo something or another, I don't know. But
yeah, something like that.
I'm actually more familiar with his game than I am with his actual series.
Well, that's a little bit different than anything that I've ever heard.
The first James Rolfe video I ever saw was his video on the Console Wars, where he talked about the SNES versus the Genesis.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was great, and that's the first real taste of him I had outside of AVGN versus Nostalgia Critic stuff, which is in its own right, its own
Oh
saga.
yeah, that's in its own league.
Nerd! Anyway.
Yeah, that's great.
Is this level still going? Oh!
It's still going!
Ah! I don't have any more tangents!
Yellow Elebit. There's a yellow Elebit, Austin. Make it go away.
Grab the yellow bit.
Okay, it's time to turn on another stoplight. No, it's not actually a stoplight. It's just a regular light. Who needs stoplights in an amusement park?
Yeah, we should have more go lights.
We should have more hamster lights.
Ooh.
By the way,
just
Austin, have I
like
mentioned to you that the mascot of this amusement park is Robbie the Rabbit?
Robbie the Rabbit?
Yes. From Silent Hill.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. Let that be your reaction.
Oh, that's bad! Oh, that's amazing!
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I just got through watching, whatever it's called, Yu-Gi-Oh! Uncut recently, and the first thing I remember from that is the fact that for some reason in the 4Kids dub, they, instead of having error or access denied flash across a computer screen, they just had a red line with a don't circle, and underneath the don't circle was a rabbit for some reason.
What?
And it's completely just, it comes out of left field. I don't know what Dr. Rabbit is doing in an error message, but for some reason that popped up on screen, and you could see the pixelation. It was so badly edited.
Oh my.
There's also the fact that when the screen changed color at one point, Kaiba's outline was still blue, so it's just very obvious they had to Photoshop in different visuals on there. I don't know what they were thinking. It was bad!
Amazing.
We're talking bad as in Sonic narrating the first couple episodes of Dragon Ball Z Kai bad.
What?
There's, I forget exactly what it was, but for some reason, Sonic, basically 4Kids used to do this thing where if they were hosting a TV show of some sort, then they would have a character from another show, and the voice actor of that character from the other show introduce it, because kids are going to connect better to Sonic than Jason Griffith voicing the announcer guy, which he did, for the record. The last time on Sonic X was Jason Griffith, but it's so much better to have Sonic say, "Hey kids, let me tell you about Dragon Ball Z Kai."
Uh-huh.
So there's it's something like a 15-minute video of Sonic summing up the first couple episodes of Dragon Ball Z Kai.
I see.
Then Raditz gives Goku an ultimatum.
I'm going to give you an ultimatum.
Either Goku could fight Raditz and win, or Raditz would take... Raditz would see to it that all of Goku's family was taken care of.
Oh.
You either defeat me in battle, or your family will meet an untimely end.
Uh-oh! How is Goku gonna get... what was it? How is Goku gonna take out Raditz in time, or something like that?
Probably gonna punch him.
That's exactly what they did. They cut past the violent scenes because can't show kids violent scenes, but Goku had a long and hard battle with Raditz, but he finally won. Unfortunately, Piccolo got hurt in the process, and it just... I don't know why it went on as long as it did, and I don't know why they had the worst shot of Sonic, probably because it's like one of the only ones they could edit properly. But it just looked bad, and I don't know what they were thinking, but I distinctly remember there was one time where they tried to do something like that where they had to advertise a new show or something like that. It might have been the new generation of Pokemon or something, and Jason Griffith voices a character in that. So, Sonic was talking about the new generation of Pokemon, and this time, Ash is followed by his new friends. And I don't remember who they were, but it's whoever the Dragon Gym trainer is. and the chef from the first gym in Pokemon Black. So
Okay.
he's followed around by them, and the chef is voiced by Jason Griffith. And there's just a point where Sonic says something like, "But as good of friends they are, I don't like this guy. I don't like Cyril's tone." And then they cut to Cyril, and he says, "Well, I don't like your voice, Hedgehog." And
Oh my gosh.
They're both voiced by Griffith, and I thought that was probably the only time that 4Kids has ever been self-aware enough to have something like that.
Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Unless 4Kids was the ones who dubbed over Ghost Stories, though that something tells me that wasn't the case.
I have no idea what that is, so I wouldn't know.
Ghost Stories is a rather bland Japanese anime, but they decided that when they translated it, in order to sell it, they couldn't just make it a decent translation already, since it's kind of a darker, less kid-friendly thing. And how do you edit out the fact that these ghosts are apparently demons from hell trying to drag people down into the underworld to punish them for their sins in the real world? There's no way to do that in a kid-friendly way, so they said, "Screw it! We're making this an adult thing!" So one of the characters went from being someone who was in touch with the spirit world to being a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh.
So every single scene of her is basically calling everyone out for being an unholy reprobate destined to hell because they've forsaken the Lord. And there's another character who's a racist, and they keep calling out this one kid for being Jewish.
What? This sounds terrible.
Oh, it is terrible! Quick, we need to get you into shape! Run like there's a scary black man chasing you! And it's all so absurdly insensitive to everyone. But they're insulting everyone, you know?
Wow.
The Jehovah's Witness is calling out every single atheist in the show. Every atheist is actually calling out every single Jewish person in the show, and every Jewish person is racist against black people for some reason.
What? That sounds terrible.
Mr. Bunny, I'm so sorry I can't be with you! Not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black!
Wow.
Yes! It was all a gag job.
Just put a bunny on a thing to make it actually. But he's pink because he's Robbie the Rabbit.
It gets to the point in the show where it's very, very, very clearly not trying to take itself serious at all, and anyone who takes offense to it is missing the joke, obviously. But unless you're the kind of person who gets a kick out of that sense of humor like me, you're not going to find it that funny, you're just going to find it weird.
Yeah, no, I'm probably just going to find it annoying, personally.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. It's a matter of taste for everyone. I'm the kind of person who can't take anything seriously, so for me, that is one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Mainly because if you ever look up the original Japanese script, it is 100% dead serious. There is no humor in that anime whatsoever.
Oh, wow.
But somehow they turned it into one of the funniest, and apparently it was all ad-lib, too. They basically said to the voice actors, "We don't care, do what you want!" And they decided to make all the characters incredibly racist as a result.
Alright, so, we gotta read the story here.
Sure.
I thought I was just capturing Elebits because they were causing trouble, but it's more than that. I actually need to save them from that bad guy. I'm still capturing them, but now it's for their own good, too. And, yeah, today that's the only level that we're gonna do, because, this next level is really long, but it's also really awesome. So, come back whenever we do that one.
Ooh.
I'm Mr. Game Pie.
I'm Austin on Sugar.
And, yeah, see you next time.